Welcome back to the Telosive Tech Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. For the first time in over 6 weeks, we actually have a full panel. Thank you, both of you, for making the time. Thank you, me, for making time, because I usually don't over the past couple months.
Thank you.
Take me.
Everybody's thankful. You know what I'm not thankful for? Lightning.
What are you talking about? I've been very thankful for lightning on my, have I? I don't think I've talked about this, have I? One brief thing. As you can tell, I'm doing the Nick thing. I'm in a car recording the podcast, if you haven't already heard through the audio or seen through the video.
It's Nick again.
Hi, it's Nick again.
You asked for him back. There he is.
And now he has
It's practically him. We don't need Nick. We have Nick at home. Nick at home.
Except instead of taking pictures of rockets, he's taking pictures of Cybertrucks. But
yeah,
I don't think
Arguably
Nick's
much
taking
better
pictures of rockets now.
I don't even know what Nick's doing anymore. So I'm on the road. So if you hear any highway noises or any other noises, I apologize. We're trying to figure it out in the process.
No,
Some other things. But
I don't forgive you. It's okay.
I did want to add, Randy, I'll finally reveal to you the one piece of rectangular tech that I bought that I did not divulge to you, but I did divulge to Drew because he did visit my house to drop off his car.
And I forgot what it is already.
I bought StarLink again.
Oh, that's right. A second StarLink dish.
Yes. But this one isn't, what's it called? The residential with the mount and the, whatever it's called, the stand. It's the mobile one.
Are you using it right now?
I am using it right now.
That explains it.
Was that a real question?
Hey!
I was going to say.
I would say
Randy's trying to act surprised that he's on Starlink.
Okay, well, the other thing is because, if it's not the frame rate, which might be an issue on this video because my frame rate's a little bit crazy, it's because the MacBook Air is basically on fire right now. I've got it on top of a bottle, so that way it gets the maximum amount of convection on it, so it cools down a bit. And then also it's like 96 degrees here in San Diego. I thought it was supposed to be nice tropical weather down here, Randy. You totally oversold San Diego to me.
You're in the valley. You're not up at the coastline. Hey, Drew was there at this time a couple of years ago during this time of the year. Nobody complained once.
Well, because I'm not a Bay Area resident, so
that's right. We got posh on the panel here.
I came from Fireland. I come from the Fire Nation of.
Hello, Prince Zuko.
Man, you guys really oversold the whole paradise thing to me when I came up there.
Why do you think I'm not in California right now?
Everything's on fire right now. But yeah.
It's because I know what it's like to be in California at this time of year. Oh, I'm watching the weather app, just laughing.
Meanwhile, I'm literally dying because everything's hot as hell. The computer,
the weather,
egg on.
The animation in the iOS weather app, it's just flames when you're in California.
If you go to Del Mar, La Jolla, or any of the beaches, you'll be fine, Mike. Then you'll get that beautiful 70-degree weather.
Oh, we'll probably hike it to the beach right after this. Starlink is cool. The only problems that it has is when you go under an overpass, and it can't see the sky. And,
I can't imagine why.
I know, right? Very obvious things. Otherwise, it's been great. I've been working while going down California because I live in Bay Area. Now I'm all the way in San Diego.
Motion, you're connected.
In motion, yeah, it's the in motion dish. So it's like the maritime looking dish version of it, and it provides pretty good speeds for everything that I need for work.
What are you looking at?
That's a great question. I haven't done any speed tests while I'm driving. I have done software updates for times
about 75, 80 miles per hour.
Right.
That's how fast he's getting.
I could try to do one right now.
Okay.
I'd like to see you do speed tests at varying, like, does the speed of the car affect the bandwidth?
I should
I'd
do
be
this and
curious.
probably document it, because the only other person that I've seen that's kind of doing it is some storm chaser guy on YouTube, in which he's the one. Thank you to that guy. Forget his name. He's the one who recommended the magnetic mounts, so that way I could just attach the StarLink dish to whatever I want that's metal. So it's
So it's just on the top of the truck?
It's on top. It's right above me right here, with 400 pounds of magnetic force holding it down.
If he hits the ceiling too hard, he loses connection.
Yeah, just freeze.
Or when you freeze up, you need to start hitting it, and it'll fix it. It'll fix it. It'll be like
it's like the
Han
CRT
Solo in the Falcon.
That too. It's like CRT TVs or like the little bunny ear antennas. You just bang on it and it works.
Yes.
But yeah, Starlink's been great, and then you'll like this, Drew.
Good.
One other piece of tech that I've been using that I will yield to. It's a little bit EV kind of adjacent. I have LFP batteries now.
Oh, you got like a portable generator thing?
Yeah, you know, what was it? I think Linus Tech Tips is famous for it. He got the Anchor 757.
Never heard of him.
Okay. Some up-and-coming YouTube guy got this giant generator.
Drew's the only ginger I know.
Oh, that's it. And he,
he doesn't have
plugged
piercings in
everything
his
into a
ears.
giant-
That's me. I'm the piercings guy. Yeah.
We like to share different aspects of things in this podcast and with us, rather than trying to have it all to ourselves. So yeah, I got the Anchor 757. It provides me like 6 or 7 hours of battery with the StarLink active the whole time. It does great.
Oh, so it's the StarLink is plugged into it?
Yes.
Ah, my parents just bought one. I wonder if it's the same kind of thing.
The Anchor 757. It's got...
Oh no, this is the... I don't want to say their name. They haven't given me anything for free.
Oh. Well, I didn't buy mine for free either, but I will say, for the past, I think, week or whatever, it's been a lifesaver. It's been great. It's been reliable, consistent. I accidentally charged it up right when we got to... because we stayed in LA for a couple days. I charged it up immediately when we got there, and then realized we're not leaving here for the next 3 or 4 days. It's just going to be sitting in a hot truck for 3 or 4 days at full charge. Uh-oh. And then 3 or 4 days...
LFP.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days later, I look, it's like still 100%, nothing wrong with it, totally fine. I'm like, okay. Well, I yield to LFP being very awesome and dependable and giving me the electric capability that I need in my time of need.
Everyone looking at LFP is like, you kneel to no one.
Your crown, sire.
You dropped this.
You dropped this. That's what you dropped this game.
Right. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you're on the road making use of all your mobile
That is
tech.
my contribution to, because I felt that I needed to share this because Randy decided to share the fact that he got a studio display on the podcast without me. You jerk.
That was way cooler.
Yeah. So much cooler than giant brick.
Did you add B-roll of the studio display?
Face.
Well, at least we know Drew doesn't fact check the podcast. That's good to know. I can do whatever I want. I can curse. I could make controversial jokes.
Well, if you're editing it.
Guys,
what?
Hang on. No, we're good. I'm recording. I'm so sorry. Wait. Just for the sake, we're ready.
You're making me so nervous.
We're 10 minutes in, but let's just pretend we're starting for the first time. Just pretend. I came prepared, but just bear with me here, okay? Here we go.
Welcome back to the Tales of Tech podcast, everybody. As you can see and hear, we're doing things a little differently today. But first, I'm joined today by our one and only Drew. How are you doing today?
Oh my god. Wow.
I bet you weren't expecting me to do this, and even come ready with preloaded responses. I have quite a few.
Well, what... What's your favorite color, Randy?
There you go.
That'd be freaky if it
What do you think?
was ready for... Oh, no. Oh, my God. That is disturbing. Wow.
This is the equivalent of Mike having that stupid button that goes not.
I forgot about
I thought of it all.
Wow. We can keep recording after Randy leaves. We can just use AI Randy to...
He just needs to give us audio.
Just make him say who's to say.
My first impressions with this is, it's okay. It gets the point across. I think the reason why this sounds more like me and less like a robot is because when I was recording my voice, I read the phrases like I would in voice acting. I didn't sound monotone. If it had me ask a question or exclaim something, I would put energy into it. I was basically reading a script and trying to sell it. A lot of people I've seen on YouTube get that part wrong and is why they sound more robotic. The issue with my approach, however, is that it gets some of my inflections wrong and it sounds a bit off-tempo from how I speak. I thought by repeating same words in different phrases that it would give a variety. So far, it doesn't seem like it. It sticks to one. Other than that, and it's screwing up the word tailless of, it's pretty good.
That's pretty close.
There's a lot of anticipation and preparation that goes into something like this. Okay, you can stop trying to trip me up now and we can move on from this. As much as this has been fun to try out and see your reaction, I'm getting tired of scrolling around to find a preset phrase I made. I'm gonna move this back over to the weird guy's voice again. Notice how I say the word again. See how it falls off and gets softer as it concludes the sentence. Watch as I do it again. I remember recording that word and my voice getting softer. However, I recorded another phrase where my again was more energized, but it places that energy in the middle of my sentence like it just did, whereas the roll-off version gets all soft. It's a technical slip-up on my end, but now it's stuck like that. Things like that. Alright, moving on now.
There's so many.
What do you want to know?
The theory of everything.
Oh my God. So audio listeners, that wasn't actually Randy.
Wow, thank you for joining us everybody, and thank you for making the time, Drew. Take care, and we'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.
Wow, it's over.
Digital Randy doesn't even
3,
acknowledge
2, 1.
my presence. What? He even does the
claps.
I'm done.
Wow.
That's not even all of them.
Awesome.
Dang. Oh my God. You spent some time on that.
So does this mean we have to pay Randy Bot and not Randy?
Randy Bot's gonna want royalties from the show, I think.
Right. Does he get like 5 cents off? Or not even that. 2 cents off of this?
It sounds like, I don't know, single bachelor depressed Randy or something. Like,
this is Randy if he never met Brittany.
That's that's the point I was trying to explain, that the inflections stay consistent even though I said the phrase different ways. So I would say ways, wait, but it only hook it and it would place that the way I would say ways depending on where I was placed in the sentence. So I tried a few of those to have exclamation, welcome back everybody, but it didn't really do that. I'm curious to see if future updates refine the pre-installed voice the way Siri got refined over time, and I don't have to do any more phrasing, because that would be cool. But yeah, I went into my little vocal booth and I acted my little heart out. I said everything with passion, because other people who would do the voice, the live dictation with your voice, live voice, or whatever it's called, live speech, everyone, they sounded like, hey, welcome back to the podcast, blah, 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 blah. And at least I was trying to put some inflections in there, but I can't change the cadence. The tempo is the same, so that's where it doesn't sound as much as me. But you could tell that, like, oh, that's Randy's voice, the way I would enunciate a T or something. Then there you go. But it was weird. It is weird, because I'm like, whoa, that's neat. You're saying tailosive wrong, but okay. So, what can you do? But
we'll have to add that to
fun stuff.
The messages you have to say into it to get it started.
Yeah.
But it feels almost like more of a Google feature than an Apple feature, honestly. Like, I don't understand what the use case for it is, I guess. It's cool, it's interesting, but I guess I'm kind of surprised that Apple is the one shipping this.
It's accessibility.
What disability would benefit from that, though, is my question.
The three that I recall like seeing and that I would even, think about myself is the first one being somebody who has like a sore throat or something, like they can't talk, they have to rest their voice in some capacity. That's a good alternative right there if you record when you still have a working voice. There are conditions where people do eventually lose their voice, and so this is one type of way you can try to preserve it in some element or another. The third one would be, excuse me, again, accessibility, meaning you don't have access to it. I remember a time where I had like a root canal and they were pulling teeth and my mouth was just completely messed with, and so I was completely numb for the rest of the day. I just and I just like, drool going down. It was gross, but I could not talk for the rest no matter how. I was like, hey, are you hungry? And that was just my life for the rest of the day. And that helps you. That can help you in situations like that. Accessibility, not meant to replace anything.
I thought you were going the route of the dentist is trying to talk with you, but their hands are deep into your molars, and you need to respond to something, so you just whip out the phone and then just.
Could you text?
No,
during
I am
that?
fine.
No, I had.
You hold up your phone.
They gave me shots on every corner of my mouth, and everything was numb. I had a sinking eye at one point because I couldn't. The muscle could not control. Like I didn't realize how much of your cheekbone area also contributes to like eye shape placement. Face ID would not have worked if it was around back then.
You're saying if I just relax my face, my eyes will start sinking?
What?
Well, let's just say.
Is that what happened to Mike Ehrmantraut?
Walter.
What?
My newborn infant kid, like day 2 or 3, he doesn't have control of any of this yet. When he opened his eyelids a little bit, I saw his eyes go, and they just drifted apart. And I was like, "Oh no!" And then he just closed them and opened. Like I was like, "Ah." So
you did a hard reset.
There's a lot of motion.
Where's the sync button?
He just like looked at me and he just like, "Give me milk." Eyes drift.
Give me milk.
Give me milk.
Me.
So
when
stuff
the,
like that.
The iPhone event happens. Give me iPhone.
Well, I'm glad you got to test it because they did not bring that feature to the SE, so I can't. They're not stealing my voice, I guess. I can't have it.
No, they got days worth of hours logged on you on YouTube. They can steal your voice that way. There's no issues there.
But
YouTube already has you. Yeah,
so.
But not that thing. So
where it matters.
I also spoke last week. I think it was last week or 2. I don't know. But I have also became the custodian of Beats Pro.
Ooh, the nothing Beats.
The
that looks
nothing
like a
Beats,
floss
and I've been using them
for like flossing your teeth. I think you're lying.
Yeah.
Randy.
Oh, you're wearing them right now.
I've been
How long
using
have
them
you
for
been
the
wearing them?
podcast because this is
Oh!
my. Ta-da!
That's how. I thought they were earrings.
Well, they could be accessories.
They kinda look
You
like-
don't know.
They kind of blend in
That's good.
pretty well. They don't have that cliche AirPod look to them, so I didn't notice them. That's cool.
I used these on my run yesterday because I wanted to see what it would be like on a more like aggressive movement. I used them kind of throughout the house. This is my final test using them long periods of time during something that is applicable to my life, doing podcasts. So I have to tell you right off the bat, especially because of the Beats announcement that came out yesterday.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
We have to because, first of all, Drew has a
Most
magic.
interesting thing.
Drew. It is the most interesting thing. Welcome to tech. Drew has the magic thumb, man. He retweets me and something. It sends out. That one's over 500,000. That one, it just.
I monetized a man with this thumb.
Yeah. So I had to compare it to these two. What you don't know is when we did EV, I was trying these out just to immediately switch to these for a real life comparison I could do.
I see.
Yeah. Here's what I can say. Yeah. If people are interested in Beats Studio Buds over AirPods Pro, don't. These things suck. Wait.
Oh, no.
In comparison to the AirPods Pro Gen 2. Gen 2 is so incredible that I'm using transparency right now, and it just feels like they're in my ears and there's nothing on. If I turn it off, I sound really muffled. The vibrations in my throat kind of feel funny. ANC, it's kind of there. These in my ear have the clearest pass through I have ever heard, that rivaling AirPods Max. This outshines first gen AirPod Pros. That's where this outshines. But
so mine.
Darn. Yeah, yours are obsolete. They don't sell them anymore. So this outshines that, and it's cool. It's plastic. It's light. It's USB-C, so you know it comes, with the right port.
Tech approved.
That's right. And they are so inconspicuous in my. You didn't notice. You thought they were and they're not heavy because it's also plastic. I'm like, man, this is kind of cool. This is nice. It's. I like the texture of these way more than a glossier one. If they would do the Apple Pencil, I'm not even saying give me new colors anymore. If they would do Apple Pencil texture for AirPods, then I think you would have the perfect headphone.
Is that kind of what the texture of the Beats case is like? Is it like Apple Pencil 2 surface material?
Apple Pencil 2 is just ever so slightly more slipperier.
Okay,
so
I can imagine now.
Yes, this for the nostalgic child or kid who grew up on Game Boys that looked like this and stuff like this.
I do love the return to form
awesome.
of the 90s. Of like the C3,
I loved
Nintendo 64, the GameCubes,
I'm for it.
What else? Bunch of other things.
This has no MagSafe,
iMac,
no wireless charging.
The iPhone.
So for a lot of that, I almost can't recommend it because I have a certain standard. But if you don't care about MagSafe or wireless charging, then I would say this if money is the next factor. But if you can chill out the 200 or 170 or whatever it is for the AirPods Pro Gen 2, I think it's an all-around more superior product. It's not as comfortable. Again, they nailed it with the comfortability with these ones. When I did the first gen of these, I was like, man, it's like nothing. I could shake my head, da 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 da. But
it's like nothing.
Nothing. It's so close to being perfect. But when I did my run yesterday, and this is why I need to try it for the podcast. When I did my run yesterday, the moment I started running, like I was making hard hits on the floor and I'm bouncing, it started disconnecting from my phone, even though my phone's in my pocket. So it would skip. It was like you had a CD in your pocket and it would start to skip. And I'm like, whoa.
No.
Yeah. I did not like that.
I'm going to put a CD in your pocket.
I'm going to put a CD in your pocket. Make it 12 songs.
You wouldn't dare.
Wow. Well, how does the sound quality compare? Do they sound okay or?
Okay, you're saying without the ANC or transparency?
Or just overall, I guess.
Overall, it's more than passable. I think the fidelity is more distinguished in the AirPods Pro 2, but this for someone like me, I noticed the difference and I'm like, oh, okay, well, all right, it's there, it's fine. Someone like you, Drew, you would not notice the difference, and I think it is more than passable. Thus, now let's transition to why I think this really catapults the studio headphones, the Studio Pros. because if this is what we can get in our ears, and it's not lossless, holy crap! I can't wait to see what a over-ear lossless with the right cabling and all that would look like. I'm so curious about that.
Included cable.
Included.
Supports it.
Yeah. I can't wait. So, yeah. Anyway, summary on this one so far. We'll find out at the end of the episode here how I feel long-term with these, like, in the ear. But these are good. It's like, why can't one thing be perfect? Like, there's give and take for everything. But
AirPods Pro
than
2
good.
are pretty darn close to perfect.
Which one?
AirPods Pro 2nd gen.
That's probably like a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
It's like the gold standard.
On God, it is. It's so close. If they change the texture, that's it. Then I'm sold. Anyway.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I would like to see you test out the Nothing headphones at some point, Randy, just to compare that to what we have already. It seems like you are definitely a resident audio tester. What do you want to say? Headphone tester? Headphone connoisseur?
I was misled on the Beats marketing for the Studio Buds, another con, because I thought I would get more spatial audio control because it said spatial audio in the marketing. But no.
Yeah.
So here's my new standard. I don't know if you caught. I think it was last week's episode or something. But I can theoretically, professionally, you probably should do this, but theoretically, and I have done it now, I can mix and master a song on my AirPods Pro using the spatial audio to actually like fine tune where placements of certain sounds should come from. And I could not do that on my dedicated over ears. Those things are just behind me. They're just stereo, not spatial. Jeez. So, the standard is: can I work in audio production effectively like these can? If I can't, then this will still be our reigning champion, our crowned victor here. These I do not have the same ability for spatial sound, and so I was misled in the marketing for that. But if you don't care about that, like a lot of people, I was surprised because I'm in my own bubble. A lot of people don't really care about spatial audio or lossless this or what. In all those senses, like
I'm here.
Huh?
I'm right here.
Yeah, you're right there. You don't care. That stuff, if you don't care about, there's really nothing wrong with it. If you also don't care about MagSafe wireless charging, then there you go. It's the right port. It's the right fit. Very light and comfortable. The material's fine.
EU approved.
It's EU approved. And it does the seamless pairing to your... I did it even when I did it to the Mac right now, because it was last paired to my watch. I mean, not my watch, but my phone.
It has the little AirPods style pop-up thing.
Oh, yeah. It's cool. I love it. I even have this. I have dedicated icons for these as well. It has the Apple certified stamp for it. Yeah.
It's not just Bluetooth headphones.
Nope.
It's actually something.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has these specific models in their white form up on my the top right corner, the same way you would if you were in Control Center. It's nice. Yeah.
So do you plan on reviewing the Beats Studio Pros?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially we need the audiophile's perspective on lossless, because that's kind of cool.
I'm very curious.
Finally, a pair of headphones. It's bizarre that they didn't debut it on AirPods, though, to me. That's kind of interesting. It's the first Apple headphones to support lossless playback.
Is it Apple, though? It's like Beats, like it's a subsidiary. It's not Apple branding, it's Beats branding.
But I mean, come on. I mean, it's Where do you get it?
We know that, but they don't market themselves as Apple branded anything. You could pick these up at a Best Buy or a Target, Walmart. Nobody would, our casual whatevers wouldn't be like, oh yeah, those things are from Apple. Apple relies on the Beats branding all by itself for it being the thing that was the thing in the 2010s. You know, like it left it alone. It didn't strip the B from it, and B. It is a B-rated product over an Apple product. That's
AB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't think about that.
I think it's just, on paper at least, it looks amazing. But I think my concerns still come down to sort of what you've been saying about the Studio Buds, is like, it's all in the execution. That's where the AirPods outshine, is it's like, okay, they both have transparency mode, they both have active noise cancellation, but one of them does it substantially better than the other.
Yeah.
So if you're just checking boxes,
yes.
The Studio Pros look way better than AirPods Max.
Significantly
like
more
cheaper.
improved pass through for transparency, as well as ANC. But honestly, if it sounds like it's trying to catch up to the first gen AirPod Pros, if that makes sense. It's trying to get to the first gen, where the first gen AirPod Pro set the standard. It doesn't come anywhere near an execution to the second gen AirPod Pros. Those things are a 9.5 out of 10.
Does this make you are you more convinced now that AirPods Max are due for a refresh, or do you think this is meant to hold us over for quite some time?
Yeah, I thought about that because Apple hasn't like technically announced Beats. That's why it's like it's not under. It's owned by Apple only by name. It's not Apple marketing or anything like that. If Apple put these on front page, apple.com, then it would be meant to hold you over. But the thing is, as of like, I can only speculate on what we have today, and what we have today is a better headphone than AirPods Max, on paper. But the thing is, you can't really. That's the thing. Unlike the in-ears, you can't screw up lossless. Lossless is lossless. It's uncompressed.
Right.
Like it's just that. The technicalities of using spatial audio and stuff like that, like with the AirPods, like that's all. That's all that extra stuff that's happening. But I am not listening to a lossless playback when I'm mixing or mastering the AirPods Pro, which is why I don't like, oh, you should do it. I do it more as like a final result. All right, how did that mix sound? Let me listen to it. Final stage, AirPods Pro and play. Oh, that is kind of cool. That's neat. I won't actively do it because it's not lossless. So you can't. There's not different version. There's no different versions of lossless. It's just build quality at that point. Really, lossless is lossless.
Does it concern you? I'm confused by this. How come? Why do you think when they say lossless is being played on them, it has to turn off ANC and transparency mode? Like those can't be on at the same time.
Is
there computational limitation or
maybe, but I would say it's probably a more it's an uncompromised sound. It's more pure listening to a playback, because ANC is there is you do hear something. It's effectively a different type of white noise. Transparency is
sound
bleed through, so it can interfere with the lossless, if at all. But it also might be a certain limitation that's on there. But again, if you're hardwired plugged in, then it's like I don't use the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack to get lossless on the over-ears that I do have. I have a special adapter that the plug So with the lossless of all this, yeah, the old saying is like, who she tells you not to worry about, you. Yeah. even though it's not a headphone jack. But this is what gives me the power to actually have like lossless playback. You can unscrew it and have a regular 3.5 millimeter.
It's
But
both. Yeah.
it
That's
is both.
handy.
So you get more oomph to it. So I'm oversimplifying it by saying like you know lossless is lossless. There is different like fidelities, or not fidelities, but there's different like high
ProRes
resolution.
lossless.
Yeah, there's high res.
what is-
There's high res
Uh-huh.
lossless. There's
Uh-huh.
Adobe and title labels that kind of go with it. It's all branding, you know, stickers that they put on it. But at the end of the day, lossless is not. You're not going to get the traditional what Beats has been known for having a very heavy bass sound, nothing in the high end. Like I think those days are gone since Apple bought them. But outside of that, it's been its own. It's been its own product still. So I think I will stand behind that statement, that tweet that I made after I get my hands on them. But I'm fairly confident this is the product to buy if you absolutely need over-ear headphones, and AirPods Max is just not cutting it for you for pricing and all the limitations that I put onto it. It might have the best sound quality, and I would give it that. At what cost, man? I'm not going to pay, $500 for something like
Fully
that.
subsidized.
Fully subsidized. I'm not paying an iPhone fully subsidized.
Do you think the Beats Studios are reasonably priced? $350, is that a sweet spot, or could be better?
It's consistent. It's been consistent. It's
Okay.
been around the 329, 350. I don't know if it's ever got to 299. I don't know if it ever dropped below 3. It's been consistent. I rather consistent. I was actually expecting if Beats was going to do an over ears, I was expecting a 399 price tag. So
Just because it's the new thing. It's got the new tech in it and everything.
and it didn't.
Yeah, I thought that was reasonable. I thought that was always the standard for most. I remember growing up when all there really was like Bose.
Bose.
That was just the go-to for anything ANC related. And I felt like the 300 ballpark was usually the high end for personal use headphones, that kind of thing.
Right.
But I thought, okay, there's a market for going over. It's just you have to justify it. So what excites me about it is it points towards that original pitch that I had for AirPods Max, which is that it should be a great mobile pair of headphones for when you're on the plane or using them passively with your phone or whatever. But then when you want it to, you can plug it into your Mac and turn it into a tool for Logic or, more intensive editing workflows. So if they could be a tool and a great media consumption, then I could say, yeah, 550, even 600 is worth it as long as they're great at both. It's the headphones that can do anything type deal.
Right.
But AirPods Max wasn't that. It was kind of this weird, wasn't really a tool, and for everyday consumers, it wasn't even that great because of the case and it doesn't fold up much and forces you to use Lightning, whereas even AirPods Pro 2 have like 3 different ways to charge, but AirPods Max just has the one. So, and it didn't include the cables, so at least on paper it feels like if Apple's playing chess on both sides, then the Beats Studio Pros like addressed most of all the big AirPods Max complaints. It's likely just at the compromise of the comfort, the execution on the ANC, the transparency mode. But maybe I'm speaking prematurely. Maybe it's really good because I haven't tried them yet. So.
Yeah. What's interesting is that like it's false competition because it is all Apple at the end of the day. It goes back to them and they want that competition because it drives sales. And I don't see this as a case of cannibalizing something because AirPods have been notoriously bricked for non-Apple devices, whereas Beats is all right. We got something for you, and the fitness workout type of people who are at gyms seem to have like a pretty strong like brand loyalty towards Beats. I notice, I mean, AirPods too, but I see a
Is it with
lot
the
of.
plastic or something?
I
Like the
think no, I think
plastic
it's the way it's
uses.
wedged in your ear because they have those wings that can
Mm.
connect, and they're like, I can lift the weights.
Oh yeah.
There's more.
Right. Right.
There's more like adjusting that you can do that help. And then some people like the over ears because I mean, marketing worked, and they feel like they're the next Tom Brady or what. Like, there is a marketing element there. And sorry, guys,
Yeah.
but you are not the next Tom Brady. But live your best life,
Except Tom Brady, of course. Who's
except
listening.
Tom Brady.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't wait to try these out because I'm kind of curious to see. It has to be able to. These are the ones to beat. Over ears,
Yes.
in ears, on ears. It does not matter. These are the ones to beat. And
Hmm.
yeah, like I will unfairly compare even AirPods Max next gen if there is the next gen. We just assume there's going to be one,
I
but
hope
I
so.
we don't know. Look how long it took for them to do a HomePod like new gen. Like
That's true. It did take them
I
forever to finally touch that one.
something about the
I hope
audio.
it's not that long.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like the audio side of Apple seems to they're not systematic about it. It's whenever.
They're not in a
Oh,
rush. Yeah. AirPods
no.
Max, they were 2020, so it feels a while ago, but still, the over ears were a thing for decades.
Yeah,
And then Apple suddenly in 2020 decided, okay, yeah, now let's make one. It's kind of
yeah.
random, but they did eventually get around to it. But yeah, I'm afraid. I just feel like it'd be the perfect product to launch alongside the iPhone 15.
I
You
agree.
know,
Yeah,
couldn't you see like USB-C now on the iPhone, and if you buy these headphones, you get lossless through Apple Music
iPhone
and
7 all over again. You lost a port, you gained a
right.
port.
Right. You get one back, and now I just think it's really cool that the Beats included cable can do power and data
I
simultaneously.
love
I'm
that.
like, thank you. That's what Type C was made for.
Yes.
But I guess my question, because you're the audiophile, so I think your opinion matters more than mine does. But the Studio Pros have Type C and the headphone jack, actual port straight in. Do you think AirPods Max should have that same thing, or should they just go all in on Type C? No headphone jack.
It depends if there's an adapter.
Mm,
Yeah, it really depends if there's an adapter. My fear
okay.
about the AirPods Max, to be honest, is that like they're gonna lean into the wireless thing again. That's my fear. That we have a chip that's so
Yeah.
good that you don't need it. And you know what? The sound fidelity is so clear. They'll all but say the word lossless because it maybe won't be lossless
Yeah.
again. That's my fear because
Yeah.
the AirPods Pro 2 aren't lossless, and they're one heck of a
No.
device, man. I love those things. I love them. I don't care that
Mm-hmm.
they're not lossless. That's a good
Yeah.
product. But as a tool, like, hey, I need something. And as of now, like, if the Studio Pros could replace this and this, that's one for the
Yeah.
price of
Combine
two.
those.
Because these
These are
are.
not two separate products.
Are you getting it? Yeah, that's this is my daily, and this is my daily
Yeah.
at the desk. I
Right.
these aren't replacing anything. I've made that up. Once I realized the skipping when I was running, I was like, okay, comfortable,
Nah.
but
Yeah.
comfort
That's kind of a
alone.
deal breaker.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it might be comfortable, but I mean, these are just as darn comfortable, really. I love how they don't
Mm-hmm.
slide out like. But I told you this the suction on this one, the silicon doesn't slip. They fixed it. Nothing sliding in or out of my
Yeah.
ear, so I'm happy either
That's
way.
awesome.
I need a product that's going to replace my work headphones and my leisure headphones. And
Right.
like there's something about let's take you and I out of the equation. Take the average Joe Schmo who has a 9 to 5 job and maybe they even have a desk job. There's something about when I was working on bass. There's something intrinsic about when somebody does this. Like I don't
Mm.
bother them. They're working. They have
Right.
them on. They're
Yeah.
focused. They do it. They gotta get these reports done. Uh, I would have AirPods Pro in my ear, working at my desk. Everybody come and bother me. I'm like, oh my, get out of my face. I gotta get this stuff done. But
see, this is where visionPro comes in. Now you just cover your face.
hey, nope. Send it to me via FaceTime, avatar emoji.
I still can't get over. I'm imagining like you're using Vision Pro or whatever, and you have the Eyesight doing the blobs and things. But then someone comes over to talk to you, and then just your eyes appear on the screen.
It goes like this. Here comes Drew. Hey, Randy, do you got those reports? Go away.
Yes, I can imagine. I can imagine it so clearly.
And then it goes right back.
Do it that way. It's like
you're coming into Darth Vader's chamber as he has to put his helmet on, and you gotta stand there.
What is it, General?
You gotta stand there awkwardly while I'm like, "What do you want?" Yeah. Apology for giving.
Or like, is that so? That's supposed to be a real-time view of your eyes, right?
I hope. Yeah. Apology.
So if you're asleep, if you fall asleep wearing those on a plane or whatever, will it show your closed eyes to the flight attendant walking by asking you for?
Oh, excuse me. Oh. There, hang on. Wait.
Oh, brother.
Sorry, because I'm sorry, Drew. Like, look, you're on travel, so you might understand. Like, if anybody who bothers me when I'm sleeping on a plane is so inconsiderate, like, if you come up,
no, I feel different. If you have food, you can wake me up.
That's is different. That's like.
It's like, don't let me sleep if you're bringing by the food.
Brittany and I.
Like, wake me up.
Accidentally, we upgraded our flights to have like upgraded meals. So we had like lasagna and some stuff. And she told me, like, stay awake. I was like, oh, because I don't sleep well on planes anyway. But she's like, stay awake and wake me up if they come by with the food and I'm asleep. I don't want to, like, we paid for them. Like, yes, ma'am.
Right. Exactly.
But.
No, like, the flight attendant wants you to sleep through it. Then they don't. Well, the attendant doesn't care. The airline wants you to sleep through it. So then you don't eat the meal.
If I'm sleeping and somebody shows up and then it does a pass through, and all of a sudden you just see my eyes like, this.
You can imagine that. They're like, oh, he's got his eye mask on. He's sleeping. You know the little Minecraft cave sound when you discover it.
If somebody comes through, like, hey, maybe he's sleeping. Like,
or it could it could make the Discord notification.
Oh no! If I'm wearing a headset and I'm in that world, I don't want to be bothered. Like, that's my visual indicator to leave me alone.
Unless there's food.
That's different.
My rule.
Well,
maybe they should let you program the Eyesight screen so I can write text on it that says "wake for food" and it goes like a ticker across.
No soliciting.
Wake up.
Unless it's food.
That's airplane mode. Just how we have airplane mode on our phone. When you put Vision Pro in airplane mode, I got to add this to my visionOS list.
Okay.
Put the words on the outside so people.
I want the little
crescent
moon for do not disturb, so that way you just leave me alone.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just
want
to
have a little clouds or stars going by on it. Do not disturb.
Do not disturb me.
That's great.
Leave me alone.
Disturb for food. I like that. Okay, there's something that's been weighing on my mind since the Vision Pro announcement. I know we were talking about headphones, but do you wear glasses or prescriptions, right? Don't you have some? You have more knowledge than I do probably about eye health and like eye fatigue, I'm assuming.
Okay.
They had that whole iOS 17 thing. Have you experienced it? I know mine hasn't because there's no true depth camera system, but where the phone tells you you're holding it too close, have you gotten that alert?
No.
Maybe you're doing it right then, because I see people on Twitter all complain about it. You're holding it right.
You're holding it right.
Steve's all happy.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Steve. Yeah, I'm holding it right. I forgot that's the thing.
Other people on Twitter, they keep complaining about that. They were like, my phone keeps telling me that I'm holding it too close. So the irony, which I capitalized on as well. I made tweets about this, about how it's like, hey, they want you to hold the screen further away, but then they show the Vision Pro and you're wearing the screen on your eyes. Tell me if my logic is wrong here.
Okay.
Because this is how I think it works. With visionOS, it's two separate displays, right? Giving you two slightly different perspectives to create a 3D effect.
Yes.
So, for example, if I was wearing Vision Pro right now and I put a monitor screen or Twitter or whatever on the wall across from me, my eyes are focused and essentially, I know they're not technically looking at that surface that's 6 or 7 feet away, but according to my eyes, they're technically focused on an object that's 7 feet away. They're being tricked into there being depth. Whereas when you're using a phone, this is not a 3D spatial experience. It's just a screen so your eyes are focused on an object that is a few inches away. Whereas with visionOS, your eyes could be focused on something technically 100 feet away that you just made infinitely large. Does just the physical fact that the screen is just inches away from your eye, does that still cause problems?
No, that's spot on what you're saying, because
Okay.
the whole point of things being closer is eye strain. Eye strain because your eyes, it's about your retinas are just, hyper focused, or maybe they're really dilated. And
because what you're focused on is when your two eyes meet a fulcrum point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you focus on something like this, your eyes are more narrowed in, and if you focus on something far away, your eyes are doing this more. They're straightening out further.
No, that's why sometimes I'll be walking around on accident because I'm like, is that a pimple on my nose? And then I'm just doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
You
should do that on Eyesight. It keeps your eyes crossed.
When somebody shows up and like on the plane, and like maybe I could talk to him right now, and so the little thing's happening comes through. What do you want?
I gotta add that to the list. Googly eyes on Vision Pro.
Yeah, hard eyes, googly eyes, the dizzy spiral eyes. Your eyes are I want to say being tricked. It's just what they're focused on. But here's the thing, though. Motion sickness is another thing that the headset I have to see about. I've experienced motion sickness. I've done simulators in effectively. I used to work on a bait. I can't talk about that. Okay, but hang on. What I can say is I was in a simulation and I was sitting in a cockpit, and everything outside of the mock cockpit is simulation. All right, so I'm sitting there, and you can the craft is moving, tilting, and things are moving in light. And I mean, that was the worst motion sickness I ever. And I was controlling the thing, and I was like 6, like I'm about to throw up. And then I fast forward a couple of years, I put on a VR headset for the first time, and I start to get a little bit of that sensation again, but it's not as aggressive because I had done this other thing, but it had the same thing happening, whereas my equilibrium is getting thrown off. Like my sense of balance just isn't there. I'm like, whoa. And so when things are falling, I'm like, I'm not falling, but I get dizzy, and it's like motion sickness is a thing. No amount of thinking something's far away or not. Like I knew from the moment the headset went on, everything was fake. There was no depth. Even when I was looking at the VR, I remember like, oh, there's the building, and then there's a further building, and I'm not getting motion sickness looking at that. But because everything's so bright in my eyes, I'm like, this feels weird. I take the headset off after 30 minutes, and I'm like, everything's muted and sad and bless you, and everything's just, there. Like I feel like I'm in a boring world again. Like I want to go back to the Matrix. So I'm curious how, if Vision Pro addresses that, if it can. I don't know. I'm
the
not
R1
sure.
chip, that seems to be that's supposed to be the calibration chip between our virtual world and our real world is
I've
to
never seen anything
make
have
sure
true
all those
pass-through that I
cameras
can
are in
see
sync.
my desk in lifetime and touch it, and it is not real. Like that I've never experienced that yet. Everything has been VR. There's been no
Same.
AR, no mixed
Same.
reality, just...
And people have told me that tried Vision Pro at the event and compared it to Meta Quest that they're not the same at all. They said it was like totally different because Meta Quest has a pass-through thing.
Right, it does.
Where you can
it's black
have
and white.
the cameras, but
It's not
right.
It's not the same.
Uh-huh.
It's a very low fidelity.
So that's why it's definitely one of those products that I think it's too soon to make a conclusion on. Like I don't think we don't have enough real world use of it or real life experience with it to know whether or not does Apple have something really special here, or is this going to be a niche or a flop or whatever. That's why I'm so excited to actually try it. And hopefully, I think one of my kind of interesting tests would be once it's out, not just at an Apple store or something, but I would love to wear it for like a long time. I want to see how sick can I get, basically, or do I get sick at all? Does it just feel like natural and real after a while? You just get adjusted to it and then you don't even think about it? Or is the 2-hour battery life a blessing in disguise? Like after 2 hours, you're done with that thing anyway. You don't wanna, but they do say, all day battery life when plugged in. So I need to put that to the test. I think it might be fun to do a test where I see how long I can, for a full day or something, just wear it and use it for, browsing and editing and just going about your day, just keeping it on and see what happens. See if your eyes get tired. See if you get motion sickness. Like, what are the limits, I guess, of the R1 calibration?
If everything is a 1-for-1 and there's nothing different, then I think you'll just get like dizzy or head fatigue because you have this headset on your head for so long.
That's true.
The
it probably
weight
gets hot.
Yeah, the weight thing will become inevitably an issue. It has to.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm curious. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm 51.49 on the thing. I don't really know. I don't think I could responsibly justify actually keeping one, but I can definitely
probably not.
But not a Gen. The thing with the Gen 1 thing is that I could. No, even then, I was like, well, Final Cut maybe, but I can't use Logic the same way. I need to have access to my headphones that are over ears. It's just off. It'll be a bit off, and that's fine if it's not meant for my workflow.
Sure.
But but then it's like, okay, so then web browsing, I don't need $3,500 for that.
No.
FaceTime calls, well, you're not going to be talking to me, which will be kind of cool, but that with my AI voice, all that would be fun.
Oh my God.
But it's not $3,500 fun.
Randy Bot has a face all of a sudden.
Oh, and a personality.
Ooh. The Walter face, right? Can I just be someone else too? Could I scan someone else's face and pretend I'm them?
I want to live
sounds great.
I want to live a day in I would put on. I'd probably be like Johnny Ive or something. I'd just be walking around. Aluminium.
Minimalism. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
maybe Nick. Maybe
so what I hear you saying. What I hear you saying is Vision Pro will solve eye fatigue. Can we get that in writing? We're gonna put that on your permanent
I actually
record.
felt like I was being one of your interviews with these execs where you try to corner them. It has the potential. Well, eye fatigue. Well, what do you mean? Let's define this. What do you mean by eye fatigue? If you're talking about, I will filibuster you. I will run up the clock.
Okay. Well, I just feel like there's definitely a noticeable trend. I've seen it and experienced it with family members and stuff. Like the amount of time people are spending on smartphone screens is definitely affecting vision capability when your eyes are focusing on something that's only a few inches away all the time. And if in a spatial computing world, we're often focusing our eyes on things that are typically artificially, but still, like, your eyes might as well be focusing on something that's 6-7 feet away, because we can just put floating TVs everywhere now. Vision Pro healthier?
Well, even if the TV was up close, it's been proven that the whole "don't sit close to the TV, it's bad for your eyes" thing that's not true. The sitting close to the TV thing is not what is bad for your eyes. It's the constant straining them and basically overworking your eyes. That's what's bad for your eyes, not the fact that you're just sitting close to a TV. So in that sense, I think if we have to hyper focus on pixels of this size up close, but that's the thing. I've never got hit with the prompt. Oh, I found my solution about not anyway, I changed my wallpaper to like it was recommended. I was like, oh, all right, I'm doing that. So now I can show things and not worry about like revealing faces or something, So I'm like, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I've never, and I hold the sucker like this sometimes. I'm like, this is, I don't know, 6 inches, maybe 8.
Yeah, it's not far. Right. I do the same thing.
I move at the caliber of where my elbow, wrist, I'm at the whim of this motion. Where is this comfortable?
Right.
Get out of here. My phone's light. When I had the 13 Pro Max, I'm just like close because anything far out, my arm is tired. So I'm like,
yeah, it's big and heavy, huh?
Yeah.
But I guess the caveat, is visionOS is going to be controlled with your eyes. So maybe that makes it worse because now your eyes got to dart around all the time to
that's the thing.
Select the menu options and move things around.
How does it adjust brightness like HDR the way
that's a good question.
I'm looking at my monitor. It's really bright, but everything else is not. The window right here, bright. The rest of my room isn't. And I can differentiate. My eyes know how to be like, okay, my MacBook Pro, it's a little bit dimmer because I'm just using it as a mic, but like my wall is white, so it's a little bit brighter because of the sun. My eyes in lifetime can adjust everything to be like, the pupil dilating or just getting to the right point. Like, okay, this is bright, but this isn't, but that is, and that is, but the rest isn't. When you put a headset,
is there a brightness toggle in visionOS?
Like, how does it address? I have questions like that. If it could attack things like that, which I don't know how, but if it could, maybe that's what
It'll probably just be calibrated to emulate the real world as much as possible, I assume. So whatever you would experience with the naked eye, it will try to do that on the headset. But sometimes it's too bright outside, so yeah, I would want to be able to adjust that. I guess I'd want to be able to.
You're just. I just picture you with a headset outside.
Yeah, I think it'll be weird because you know how it's stitching together like all these different cameras, right, and putting together a POV. What happens because all those cameras are technically in a different position than your actual eyeballs. If you start like bringing your fingers close to the headset like this. Does it start like breaking the seams between the camera feeds? Like, do your fingers start to look distorted? Like,
think about how you stare off. Like, look past your MacBook display right now. Stare off at something, and just lock your eyes on that something you're looking at, and then do that same motion. Yeah. Slowly bring your hands, wide open to your face, and you'll notice, like, it already our eyes don't. Like, my fingers are splitting. Like, there's already something off with it.
The two perspectives.
So, it can't emulate that, but what it can do is probably... Maybe it will split the screen, like, show sometimes... Oh,
well, it would have to, right? Because there'd be a point where you're covering one camera, but not the other.
Or it warps. Like, it warps it the way, like, desk mode warps everything.
Yeah.
Maybe it does that. It warps it. It distorts it.
So many things I want to try. So many things I need to experiment with. It's kind of interesting. But,
this is weird.
Like you said, the first generation hardware isn't that crucial or important in the grand scheme of a product line. Like, if you think about all the limitations of the first iPhone, the first iPad, the first Apple Watch, they didn't suddenly make the product like amazing and everybody wanted one. Like, That was not ever the job of the first generation. It's just meant to be kind of a proof of concept. Can we manufacture this? Can we develop apps for it? And then usually by the third, fourth, and in the case of visionOS, I think it could be way longer. It could be the sixth or seventh generation before we see something.
You're getting into iPad
maybe
territory.
Everyday people. Yeah. We're still waiting on that iPad to be interesting. No.
Oh, this one.
iPad's found its audience. It's just not growing it. That's what I'm upset by. But
yeah. I watched a thing on the iPad really quickly. I think it was 9 to 5. Or maybe Mac Rumors. Somebody on YouTube to one of those, publications. And they were talking about how like I've dailied an iPad as my main computer for 1,000 days or something like that. 5,000, something
Whoa.
obnoxious. And he's like, and I use it to do stuff like this. And he was like, yes, the software's getting better with adjusting screens and that. And he made a comment. It's been kind of like sitting on my head. And he basically said, you can get from A to B, and it's just a different route, or maybe there's more steps, or maybe there's just you have to relearn something. And he even acknowledges like the more direct path is on Mac OS. Click, drag, drop, boom, done. And you can, because he was talking about like editing and uploading. He's like, I can do that on an iPad. I can do LumaFusion and blah, 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 blah. And I do that. I plug in but now that I can like external, as of now, beta is only for FaceTime, but I can even hook up a dedicated camera, film, and because he's not doing continuity cam. Yeah. But he was talking about, and he's like, you can get from A to B just in a different route. And then I started to really think, that's what it is. It's the path less chosen thing where, you can get over here through this way, and maybe this way means extra steps, or maybe they both kind of go over here, and in this analogy, there's a McDonald's here and there's a McDonald's here, and it's the same McDonald's, and it's just how you get there. And the fundamental purpose, the utility of an iPad is touch first. I said that a long time ago, and I still stand by that. It's the touch interface, not GUI. And either it's because I was raised and grown up on using the GUI, and then touch came later, or it's the fact that it's just more mainstream. There's more. I have multiple windows right now up that I can never do on an iPad, because even then the screen real estate thing, they're like, but you can plug in now with M1. You can plug in, and now you have the same screen real estate, and it's so close. It's impossible meat. It's beyond meat. It's not meat. It's meat adjacent, and that's what it is. And for some people,
near burger.
Some people are vegan or vegetarian, and so then it works for them.
Vegans use iPads.
Vegans use iPads. Because they got to do extra steps to get the same result as somebody's like, here, eat your beef fat.
And it's still not quite as good.
It's just it's different. It's just you don't get the same nutrients.
That's ironic because I've actually I'm hypocritical because I actually really like most of the meat alternatives I've tried, and I think
me too. I've tried the Impossible.
I've been like, oh wow, this tastes just as good.
I tried Impossible something.
I'm not trying.
I was like, ooh, that's pretty good.
I'm not one of those people. I know so many people in my life that are like, oh, it'll never taste as good as real meat, and I'm like, it's just a chemistry
it's
equation.
All chemically engineered, made in a lab. You think the beef patty you're getting at McDonald's is cut straight from the cow to your beef bun?
Right.
No.
We're just abusing an animal in the process, but there's still a chemist and a bunch of liquids going into that cow, and they.
You gonna tell me the McDonald's in Hawaii is the same flavor as the McDonald's in New York, and say there's no? That's chemically engineering something there. It's really bad.
We're already halfway there. Is my point, but I get the premise though of like the artificial like. because that's how I've always felt about the iPad. Is it's the dumbed down, like it's the kid version. Now you can pretend that you're using Final Cut now. Oh, you can pretend that you have Logic on your iPad.
Not for a subscription fee. I won't. No, I won't.
No. That's true.
Anyway, no. So what I'm trying to tell you,
I haven't touched my iPad in 6 weeks.
What I just want to conclude on it is that where I'm getting at is that yes, I can use an iPad as an alternative, and I can find a way to make it work. But it's not streamlined. It's not the most efficient way that I can operate. And like, if something was to ever happen to the Mac, then I can always default in it, and I know I would be okay. Now.
Yes.
Even though it's not an M1 variant of it, I know I would be okay. And that's what I mean by, like, I'm okay with iPadOS now, because it's far enough along that it's still a school computer with all its limitations and restrictions, and you can't access the full web, but it's still a computer, and you can still get online with all the firewalls in place and stuff like that, and sites are blocked. Fine. But it's not my first pick, and given the option, I won't choose it. Not until it can replace all this, you know. So, iPad, you're right. iPad has, unfortunately, it is where it needs to be. It's matured, it's done, it's there, and I've accepted it. And it's like, okay, all right, we're good.
The hard truth I've faced is that a ton of iPad use cases can be done on phones. At least that's what I see in my personal life. Just iPhones can do practically all the same stuff, just a little bit smaller screen. But half the time, as we're seeing, iOS gets a ton of stuff that iPadOS doesn't. And I feel like it should be the other way around. I think iPadOS should be getting way more stuff because it's got bigger display, better chip, and yet they take out a bunch of stuff. They remove things from iPadOS and don't give it all the stuff that the iPhone gets. So I'm like, well, at that point, I'll just take an iPhone, especially when iPhones are as big as they are. You can fit a lot of content, and multitasking is so easy on iPhones now, so it's easy to swipe between apps. So a lot of the time it's like just not running into that use case where I'm like, oh, my iPhone screen is too small, I need a tablet. No, a lot of people usually are like, no, I'll be fine with the phone. But similarly to how the iPad is being treated as like it's just a different, like you said, it's a different path to the same goal. May not be the more efficient path, but maybe it's a prettier path or more aesthetically pleasing or something to someone because it's a touch optimized versus GUI. I'm thinking maybe that's Apple's mindset on Vision Pro. I don't think it's necessarily meant to be a replacement. I'm sure they won't mind if it becomes a replacement, but because instead of buying $1,000 Macs or phones, like, now
just
you're
like
buying
the iPad was a replacement, you know that meme.
Right. Yeah. That's a good meme. I haven't used that one in a while.
Just like FaceTime was supposed. I remember he's like, group FaceTime just works. Just like FaceTime's supposed to work.
Just like AirPod automatic switch. Yeah, that's a good meme. We should bring that back.
Yeah.
But I do think that visionOS will likely turn into another path to similar goals. It's just the question is it more efficient? Is it more effective? And it'll probably depend on the end user. It'll depend on what you're doing. Like the way I see Apple pitching it is people who are traveling a lot. Vision Pro might make a lot more sense than, getting a big monitor and desktop set up and everything, because you can't take all that with you. So if you're like me, the digital nomad that's going all over the place, maybe to someone like me, having the computer just attached to my face and all I need is a keyboard and trackpad, and now I can edit wherever.
Right.
I could be at a counter, I could be at an airport, and no one can see the screen, which is nice. I really hope, this is a small detail, but I really hope they don't put the password dots when you're typing in a password.
I remember you talking about that because there's no need.
That would be such a little Apple change thing. Like, you don't need the dots anymore because you're the only one looking at this.
Well, I'd actually, with passkeys or password, like, aren't they trying to do away with passwords as a whole anyway? Just going to Face ID your retinas and unlock it anyway.
Now, yeah, now you don't have to rest your finger in a certain place or hold the phone a certain way and get your face and
it just does
worry about sunglasses or whatever. It just looks at you and goes, it could probably do that even more passively than Face ID or Touch ID, where you get the little pop-up that says I'm scanning. Why do that on visionOS? Why bother?
Yeah.
It could just do that in the background and just not tell you that it did it. Okay, authenticated. And if someone else puts on the headset, it's like,
Wait a
that's
minute.
not you.
Doubt.
Doubt. It just puts that meme on the screen. You are not you. Did you hear about it having like a speed limit thing?
Wait. Like,
apparently, I read about it. I don't know if it's just for driving or it could be when you're walking. Like if you put on Vision Pro and started to like run or something. Apparently it has a speed limit. But I want to know what's the best way to accommodate for someone is traveling too fast with a headset. Do you want to take it? You want to turn it dark? Because that's worse, right? If you could see with the headset on and someone's like, oh, wow, it's transparent. I can see through it. So you start running and then it says speed limit breach. So it turns all the cameras off and then you just run into something. So I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense.
Well, I don't see anybody running with this thing for like fitness. That is.
No, not fitness, but just like someone gets excited when they put it on, or maybe someone stupidly. I don't know. It's probably not as comfortable as AirPods, but I don't. When I put on the original AirPods design, it was so lightweight, it fit in my ear so well. I put them in, and then I totally forgot they were there, and I didn't realize I had them on until I got in the car.
A whole day
I'd look in the mirror, and I was like,
oh,
they're right there.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, it probably won't be that same experience with Vision Pro, but if someone was just using it all the time and gotten so immersed with it that they're just kind of accustomed to it, and then they get in the car and start driving, the Vision Pro could probably tell, okay, I'm in motion, that's not good.
No, so there's no way. I don't see that being a scenario. You know when something's on your face. Even when I'm wearing glasses, the most passive.
You know, but we're talking edge cases here. Like someone's
dumb.
No,
those are the same people who are falling asleep with FSD, and then now they got a reason to hate Tesla, and Tesla gets sued because some
drilled phone. They tried to drill a headphone jack back in their iPhone. People, iFix. What's his name? Not iFixit. TechRax. TechRax is going to do something with Vision Pro that's stupid or whatever. And what should the software protocol be? I read about the speed limit thing, but I'm trying to figure that out.
It should be like that.
But shouldn't it let the cameras still be passed through? Because you don't want to blind someone in the middle of a high motion activity.
I don't know, man, because I just don't. I guess because I'm so. I would be impressed by the stupidity of somebody who's trying to get behind the wheel with that.
But you're underestimating the stupidity.
No, I am. No, because now
you have to.
No, you're right. I am underestimating it. It's
Day one, someone will do it. I guarantee it.
Yes,
someone's going to do it right
the
away.
speed limit has to do with car, not running. The fastest runner can't hit the same speeds as you just driving out of your neighborhood.
I need to look more into it, but I definitely read about.
If there's a speed limit, it's because of driving. If it's driving, it's because you're driving like a jerk and you're doing things you're not supposed to be doing, and you're putting people's lives.
It says that the system alerts the person wearing the headset that they are moving at unsafe speed. So there's just references to the code saying that. It doesn't say at what speed. So I don't know if that means when you're running.
How would it know if it's not paired to your phone or anything else? How does it know that?
I don't think it pairs to your iPhone, does it?
That's my point.
It was a totally independent thing.
There's no GPS on the thing.
Is there? Well, I guess it could have like a gyroscope or something, right?
I mean, there'd be GPS the same way you could use Find My for your MacBook, but
yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like it's now talking to your car and your car is talking to it. This is hoping that your phone is on you, something that does have like active GPS going on.
I guess it could know, yeah.
How could it know with no Wi-Fi, no cellular, no nothing, and it just knows you're going fast? You're right. Somebody's going to test it. Someone's going to be stupid about it.
Well, there's references in the code. It says that virtual content has been temporarily hidden until you return to a safe speed. So the way I interpret that pop-up is that the cameras would keep working. It just wouldn't show you apps and windows and stuff. It would just stay as a pass-through, and that's it. It would just have a little text that says, slow down or whatever. But Weird. It's bizarre. It's a
Well,
bizarre problem.
that's not
we'll
fair
probably
for your
run into.
passenger who's not driving.
Yeah, that's true. What if I want to use it in the back of a car or something?
Yeah.
Can you
What if you're
preface that?
flying?
Well, yeah, they showcased it flying, so it's got to have a travel mode or something.
What's the difference between driving and flying? Except flying is faster. You go so fast.
Right, and
it says screw it.
How does it know the difference between I'm traveling in the back seat versus I'm in the driver's seat?
Is it looking for a steering wheel?
Could the LiDAR detect that? The LiDAR is like, oh, steering wheel detected. Don't let the machine work.
It can. It can. The same way it knows when you're wearing a mask.
Wow. Interesting. That'd be cool.
LiDAR knows when you're wearing your mask, and so it can do the mask version of Face ID. Or it knows when you're wearing sunglasses. Like, LiDAR already does a lot for face authentication. Of course it can know steering wheel.
Interesting. What if it's a yoke from the Model S and X? Can it know the difference?
It probably won't. Maybe it's looking for the center. The center is always the same.
Right.
Maybe it's looking for more than one
that
piece to verify.
Or that hand position, like it sees two hands holding on to something like that, or one hand holding on like
Me, an intellectual. Boom, boom.
Yeah. Don't worry, I have Blue's Clues.
And then I'm looking away.
Touch the wheel.
And then I'm looking away, so you're not even looking. The LiDAR's not even looking at the steering wheel, and I'm not. My hands aren't there.
Wow, the future sucks. This is gonna be terrible. Got LiDAR driving the car. We got LiDAR in the car. We got LiDAR everywhere.
Yeah.
Whew. Oh well.
Well.
Any So Twitter. Any final thoughts as we wrap
Speaking
up?
of Twitter, you're making me borderline think that I can actually get monetized on there at this rate. You got the magic retweet
I hope I
button.
can.
How is it that I mean, unless I'm looking at the wrong tweets you put out there, but like I don't feel like I'm saying anything too controversial that merits, fractions of millions of views, and like that right now as we speak, as we're recording this, my iPad turns off, goes off, turns on, because I forgot to turn off notifications for Twitter on that thing, and all day it's just people retweet, like, and to have a comment about the over ear things. I'm like, wow, that one really like got under. I don't even remember what the first one the iOS 17 beta. That's the one I was like, oh okay, yeah, that one tripped up. Like that was weird. I don't know why that picked up traction. But AirPods Max was trending yesterday, and I was top tweet.
Whoa, that's cool.
That's my Twitter claim to fame. AirPods, which is funny because one of my most viewed videos on YouTube had to do with putting on AirPods Max and having it like realizing.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm the AirPods Max guy. All right then. All right. So
I guess so. This is your identity now.
You carved out my lane, Drew. That's what you did. So from now on, whenever I do anything audio, I need you to retweet that so I can get 500,000 views on it.
Okay.
And I'm on the path to monetization, and we will Twitter blue it up together.
Twitter Blue Cruise.
Stop!
Oh, I got the right one. Interesting.
But I still heard Blue's Clues in my ears, so no.
Yeah. It's spatial audioed out.
Well, thanks for joining us, Mike. I really appreciate you showing up.
So, just as an update, in case people are wondering what happened to Mike, he told us that his MacBook overheated. I'm afraid 14-inch MacBook Pro takes the
I'm afraid
W on this
the
one
MacBook
again.
is going to be quite operational.
I don't know. He was recording in the middle of this hot sun, and he didn't have any fans or AC running, so
this is literally
it may
Nick
have been
again.
just yeah, it really is. It may be the impossible situation. I think what I've learned is if you want to record in the car, you need an EV.
Okay, I like yours better. Because you and I have recorded in our Teslas, and I can confidently say, never had an issue.
You can run the AC the whole time because it doesn't rely on a gas engine or anything, so that can keep the. But it's basically just oven when you park in the sun and you're recording in there. It just gets hot and then the computer overheats. I've never heard of the M1 MacBook Air overheating, so that's a first time.
I actually have an actual final thought here because it just reminded me. I had a hiccup that happened in my headphones again right now. So, on principle alone, I don't know if I can actually recommend the Beat Studio buds. I don't know if I can. Mine's too buggy, and this is my experience with it. If anybody's thinking about it, go on Renewed or find AirPods Pro Gen 2 as best as possible. Yeah, don't pay full price for anything. I mean, I even theoretically especially headphones. Theoretically, I if I was to keep these, I bought this when they were on discount, so I don't pay full price for anything. But my synopsis for long-term usage of these things: they're very comfortable, very cool looking, very light. I'm having technical issues with them, so I can't recommend them.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly such a tough sale when AirPods Pro are so good already.
Because when AirPods Pro exist.
Yeah, exactly. You can't touch them. Maybe AirPods Max can beat them, but they've got some splaining to do, I'm afraid. So we'll have to wait till that day. But that's for another day.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. Well, hopefully we'll get some thermal issues and we'll get 3 people on a full podcast eventually. But we'll catch y'all next week. I'll be in another state and probably with some more tech to talk about. Bye-bye.
Can't wait. Bye.